got my sweater, I've got my hand knit socks on, and I have got my fall knits. I'm ready! Hello, my name is Emily Crow and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the Crochet and Knitting Podcast, episode 23. I'm so glad to have you here. I like to talk about all things fiber arts related here on this channel. I do vlogs, product reviews, I do podcasts like this one, all sorts of things. And today I want to talk to you about recent things I finished, both knitting and crochet today, some whips that I've got going on, including some things I haven't worked on in a while, which is really awesome to share, and all sorts of new things going on with us here. I currently live in the Bay Area with my husband and my daughter, and she is at playgroup right now. So yay, I get a little bit of free time so I can film this, which is awesome. It is gloomy today. It's in the low 60s. I'm wearing a sweater. This is my love note. I knit this at the beginning of this year, actually. It feels like so long ago, but it really wasn't. So this is in Knitpicks. Aloft is the mohair, and then I also used palette. And so I held those two together. I knit it for the Love Note is in the Air knit along that I hosted at the beginning of the year. It is so soft, so cozy. I love the 3/4 length sleeve. That is my favorite for sure. I do have something on underneath this, but it's like a half tee that is like my nude color, and so I think that it makes the lace pop a little bit. You can see that my actual skin tone is a little bit different than the shirt I'm wearing, but it's fine. And I got my hand knit socks on, and so I've got all the goodies. It is fall. It's October 4th today, and all of a sudden, as soon as October hit, it really started to feel like fall and be a little bit cooler in the mornings, which is so nice. Fall is my favorite, so is October. Let's get into what I have today to show you. So many cool things. Okay, where to even start? I think I'll start with these socks. I literally just put them on my blockers. But I finished my Life's Better When Camping socks. Ta-da! I do apologize for the lighting because it is gloomy and it's the morning, and I've got like a light going on over there to try to help at least have more light in this area. My apartment is not one with a lot of lighting, so I'm doing the best I can. Oh, look at that color work though. So pretty. So this pattern is by Gray Owl Knits, and I tested this pattern for her and just finished the second sock. Now, I thought it would be really fun to have these socks while I was camping. Last weekend, I went camping in Yosemite. Was that just last weekend? Yeah, it's Monday today. So not this very past weekend, but like a little bit over a week ago weekend. I went camping in Yosemite with my family. It was the first time we went, all three of us together, and it actually went really well. Despite having a toddler. I mean, the first night didn't go well, but the second night went amazingly. I'll talk more about that later. But my plan was to have this pair of socks to wear while we were camping, and that worked, kind of. So I finished the second sock while we were camping. I finished them on the second day that we were there, and so we got there Friday, spent Saturday, and then left Sunday. So I'm pretty sure I wore them like Saturday night, and then I also wore them Sunday. So yeah, yay! Colorwork socks are really great for cozy nights because it's basically like a double layer of fabric. So cute. So the colors I used for this main color is Coastal by Woodbury Fiber Co. It's their mystery color from the road trip game. They did this last summer. So I'm really surprised I used it so fast. So I'm really happy about that. And then this creamy color is Sorella yarn in the color Cardigan that I've used for probably a gajillion socks. This black is Leftover Dante from Treehouse Knits. And this minty color with occasional speckling is from Yarn Nouveau, their Kismet colorway, when they were known as Hole in the Wool, is I think when I bought this yarn. So it was a while ago. So yeah, finally finished them. Yay! They don't fit on my blockers great because of the color work. They're a little bit looser on top since they don't have the elasticity that normal knit fabric does. So they look a little scrunchy, but I think I might, instead of hanging them, I might lay them flat to dry so that they don't get wrinkles from like falling down just a smidge. This is definitely a taller sock than I normally wear, but they're nice and thick, nice and cozy. Great for wearing with hiking boots. So yay to have that finished object. I had one of them done, I think, last time I spoke with you. I have more socks to share, so I need to move things around on the sock blockers. So hopefully my freshly blocked socks will be okay, taking them off for a little bit. The second pair of socks I finished were my Desert Vista Dye Works September colorway socks. I started participating in the monthly knit along where you knit a pair of socks with the skein of their yarn every single month. I started in July, so I started for the second half of the year. And this colorway is called Pink Spotted Tree Frog. So cute. It's inspired by a picture that I sent in actually for their colorway naming contest. And so this skein was offered for September, so I decided to knit it up for September. So cute. It came with this mini, which is like just a tan color. I think my favorite color right here is like this periwinkle blue. So cute. I did the heel toe do-si-do pattern, so you can see like there's a little bit of zigzag. Let me take a sock off the blocker and maybe show you a little bit better. So I did a heel flap and gusset, and I think even though a short row heel is really fun to do, I think that heel flap and gusset fits me better. I'm not 100% decided on it, but that's kind of how I'm feeling. Ta-da! Look at that fun zigzag. It took me most of the first sock to be able to memorize the pattern, but then I could do it without even looking at the written pattern and just by reading my knitting and not having to remember even like the exact counts, but knowing where I needed to increase and decrease and such. So the second sock, I feel like flew off my needles way faster because I didn't have to keep looking down and figure out what I was doing. That colorway is really fun. I'm not necessarily a hot pink person, but they are a fun pair of socks, and it was nice for like finishing off the summer, and now I'm ready to get into all the autumnal colorways. Okay, the last few finished objects I have. Oh no. Okay, technical difficulties. I have this gimbal that is supposed to hold my phone when I'm videoing, and I've done everything. I recalibrated, I charged it last night, and it still just died on me. So, any tech people know what I can do about that, or is it a goner? I don't know, but I've just got my phone propped up right now, so I do apologize. We're gonna get moving on with the show. Next few finished objects. Yeah, I have a lot. Did not plan so much, but when I finished a couple pairs of socks, I was able to channel my energy towards a couple other things that I just really wanted to finish and get done and out of the way. It's kind of like a fix it or frog it thing. I decided to fix this baby waffle sweater that I crocheted my daughter. This is a pattern test I made quite a few months ago, like towards either in spring or like very beginning of summer, probably more in spring. So I made this, ta-da, and I had it all done before. If you've watched my podcast before, then you will probably have seen this, but the neckline was too loose the way it was originally written in the pattern. The designer has since changed it, but I hadn't gone back and changed it. And so I finally just sat down and did it. It took me like half an hour, not even that much probably. I did a slip stitch ribbing, and I included a button since this hole ends up being like, it's kind of a little bit tight, I feel like, to get over a toddler head. And so I just kept it open here, and I had a little loop and a button just to give it a little bit extra space. And it's meant to be an oversized sweater, so it's still oversized on my daughter for sure, but it definitely fits her way better with the neckline fixed. And now that she's just a little bigger than when I tested this pattern, having the sleeves rolled up like once is great. It's like nice and cozy, but also it's pretty lightweight. It's a cotton blend. I used Karen cotton cakes in the color Sunset Dreams. That's what did the striping as well. And so it's a cotton blend, like cotton and acrylic, I think. It's lightweight to wear. It's nice as a sweater that's not meant to be like super duper like cozy, keep you warm, but something to throw on when it's just a little bit cooler out, like in this weather. We need long sleeves and sweaters in the 60s here in California. So I'm so happy. This was in my whip pile for forever because I just meant to just finish it off, and I hadn't, and I finally did, so I'm very proud of myself. If there's something in your whip pile that only needs half an hour to finish, go and get it right now. Go pick it up. Nope. Pause the video, go get it, bring it back, and you can do it during the rest of this video. You'll thank me later. Okay, now that you all have your languishing whip projects in laps so that you can work on them. Let me talk about a few really fun toy type things I made. I participated in Sarah Shira's Choose Your Gnome Adventure Mystery Gnome Knit Along, and they already finished. All clues have been released. By the time this video comes out, prizes may have even been given. I'm not quite sure. But I have my gnome to show you. Isn't he so cute? This is Norton. He's a cutie. So let me talk about the yarns first, and then I'll tell you the modifications I chose for this. So yarns, this one is called Explorer Knits and Fibers, the Karma Chameleon colorway. This teal is Dying Wishes Yarn Co. in the colorway Waves. And the white is actually Knitpicks Stroll Bear, which is cheaper than buying Stroll in the colorway white. Hot tip for you. And it's not like super stark bleached white. It's definitely a white, but it's like an eggshell white. It's just a little tinge of like cream in it. So I feel like it goes with everything. He's so cute. So the point of this pattern was each different portion of the gnome, you could choose between multiple options given to you on what you wanted to do. I did the simple hat with just a textured band here, and I decided to make it a fold over hat. Oh, and I did a contrast bind off on the hat, also suggested in the pattern. I did a simple striped stockinette body, and then for the beard, I just did a single color with the fringe. I did a spherical nose. And then for the arms, I actually did, it's an I-cord arm, but I switched the colors around. In the pattern, it recommends doing color 2, which is my teal, as the arm, and then a little pop right before the white hand in color 1. But I switched the colors because I really wanted to use more of color 1, and I felt like you couldn't see the variegation when it was just one little round on the I-cord. And so that's what I did, and I'm really happy with that. Kind of tied in that color a little bit better than just having it on the edge of the arm. And there he is. I'll pop a picture up. This is my entry picture for the Gnome Knit Along. I made him a little newspaper, and you know how like in spy movies they would like cut out circles for like eyeballs to look out of a newspaper and like kind of spy through a newspaper? Well, I did that with Norton, but with his nose, because I just thought you gotta showcase the nose. He's supposed to be like an international gnome spy. Like, he has lots of different outfits and stuff, which is why there's multiple options for his different body parts and things. So I kind of leaned into that when I made my picture. So he's super cute. My daughter loves him. She's obsessed with him. Even when he only was a hat and a body, she loved him. And so now this is basically hers. She just plays with him. So I need to make more gnomes for her, I think. Super cute. It's a great way to use up some stash yarn. I use just like little balls of yarn, like maybe 20 or 30 grams each, and I still have more yarn left of all 3 of those colors. It's a great way to use up little bits of color and to just kind of play around with color. Do something small but different than a sock. Super fun. I definitely recommend it. Oops, that was a little bit shadowy on my face. I'm sorry. The last couple projects I have are crochet. Some fun things to share with you. So I made a new little pattern. I'm throwing it up on my blog, so I'll make sure to link that down below. But it's this little owl pattern. So cute. And I know it's not super revolutionary. That's why I'm just throwing it on my blog. I volunteer with the 9 to 11-year-old girls in my church. That's the age that I learned how to crochet, and I thought it would be really fun to teach them how to crochet for one of our activities. Did not go as planned. I tried to pick the most simple amigurumi I could. Basically, you just do a circle up until you have 30 stitches, and then you crochet like 10 rounds. And then you just pinch the top and then crochet the top together. Literally the easiest amigurumi I could think of. And then you do the little felt pieces, you just hot glue them on. But for people who have never done crochet before, it was just too much to ask. Too many new skills with like the magic circle and single crochet and increasing and all that stuff, when they were really just figuring out how to hold their hooks and where do I even put it to make a stitch. My bad. I'm learning for sure. It was my first time teaching a group that young, so I have lots to learn for sure. But I made one. This is mine. one of the girls told me he looks like the Duolingo owl, and I agree. I think that if I ever were to teach that age group again, I wouldn't do anything in the round. I'd probably do like a little wristlet or bracelet or something small like that you could just practice working back and forth. But that's another time. If you have any tips for teaching young kids how to crochet, let me know, because they were getting really frustrated and we just didn't have enough time to like help them get comfortable with it. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. I'm going to help them one-on-one to like finish their owls, and I'm going to do the bottom part because that's the hardest, honestly, and then just crocheting in the round they can do on their own when they get the single crochet down. That's the plan. So I'm going to be making a lot more of these, or at least doing half of a lot more of these, so then the girls can finish up the rest of it at home. But that's why I made that cute little owl. My daughter has also taken that. She likes cute little things now. She didn't used to care about stuffies, but now she does. But I have another one for her, I guess. This one is a little minotaur. So cute. So cute. The nose ring turned out really good, actually. So, minotaur. I used this book, A Crochet World of Creepy Creatures and Cryptids. You can see they've got the minotaur there. This is by Ricky Gustafson, who is Crocheted by Ricky. I got this book sent to me from Page 3 Publishing. So the book was free for me in exchange for some posting on social media. So I finally got to make something from it. I thought it was perfect to highlight this book for October, all the different creepy critters and such. So I made him. I actually have a vlog that will come out next week showing the process of making him, which I thought would be really fun to show. You'll see that the colors are not quite the same. But I just used what I had in my stash. I still think he turned out pretty good. The eyes are definitely a little smaller. The loincloth is a little short, but he doesn't actually have anything down there, so it's okay. His loincloth doesn't actually have to cover anything. The nose ring, I just used a really large jump ring I had, since I was having a hard time getting craft wire to look nice and rounded and behave itself. It was honestly like not sticking in there very great. Like it didn't look very good until I stuffed it, and now it's hanging down better, more like what you'd expect a nose ring to look like. So I think that turned out really good. He's really cute. And honestly, the hardest part about amigurumi is just sewing everything together, and it didn't even take me that long. It's all just a mental game. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I made him. He's a good size too. Again, my daughter laid claim on that, so it's not going to be mine anymore. But if you want to know more about that piece, I did vlog the process, so I'll be sharing that with you next week. Wow, that's a lot of finished objects. Let's go into whips. I don't have very many because all my energy went into finishing some projects. I am very much in a finishing mood. Okay, so I have a few really cool whips to share with you. This one is not one you've seen before, and it is almost a finished object, like painfully close, but I ran out of yarn. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll show you one. Look at this. If you haven't seen my vlog, I'll link it up above and down below, but I did a vlog where I tried to knit this pair of socks in a day. Clearly I didn't because it's still a whip, but definitely check out that vlog to see how far I got and kind of share my experience. I even do a little tutorial on how to do this texture. This is the Laid Edges sock pattern. It's a DK weight sock pattern by Kelly McPherson. Super fun because it's mostly vanilla and it's just got this little cabling detail. It felt like it worked up really fast. It was really fun to do. It's got an eye of partridge heel. It's also a free pattern, so if you want to do DK socks that are not just plain vanilla, this is a really fun little step up. This yarn is from Dying Wishes Yarn Co. in the colorways Basic Birch and Pumpkin Spice. I got the Autumn Equinox box from Sarah, and it came with a couple goodies I'll talk about later, but this yarn sock set came in. It's a DK weight sock set, which I hadn't realized, but I don't have any other DK weight sock yarns, and so I definitely am in the mood to knit more DK weight socks, so I need more. And I could always double up on fingering weight, and that's, you know, one thing you could do, but I really just want to knit DK weight socks, so I need more of that. But I love this colorway. Love. And like I said, I almost finished. I have literally 3 rounds left to go on the leg. 3 rounds on this toe. And that's all the yarn I have left. So I could maybe do half a round. It is painful. It is so painful. The biggest issue is I'm not super comfortable knitting DK weight socks, and this is the first time I've used a contrast with DK weight socks. With finger weight socks, I know how much 20 grams will get me on my socks. For DK, I wasn't quite sure. When I was knitting this cuff, I just followed the pattern, and I was like, wow, this is a really long cuff. This is using a lot of yarn. But I just did it anyway. And now I'm regretting it because I really only need like maybe 2 yards. Probably not even that much. So if you got this sock set, I got the DK weight size. If you got this and you want to share a couple yards of your contrast with me, let me know because I would gladly take it. Otherwise, I will probably just wait until Sarah releases her Autumn in New York pre-order, which will have these colors as well as many others, and I can just order more of the pumpkin spice is my plan. I'm so close to finishing them, and I just, but I didn't want to make the toe any shorter. I already do kind of a shorter wedge toe, and so I didn't want to like go back and knit a little bit longer in the main color and then switch to this color and make this toe shorter. It's a huge mess to try to unpick some of this and do like sock surgery. I do really like the orange toe, so I didn't want to just do main color all the way. I don't know. I think what I would enjoy the most is just having more of the pumpkin spice. So I think I might just try to wait it out unless someone has a little bit extra after finishing their socks that they want to share with me. So that is a sad WIP almost finished object that just has to hibernate for a while until I have more yarn. It's very sad. Oh my gosh, I have more sock woes to share with you. I had totally forgotten. But I am knitting the Ambulate socks by Roro and Cades. This is a pattern test. Oh, I wish this lighting was just a little less glary, but you can see I've got some spiders. So fun! It's mostly pearls with like a twisted rib detail for the drag lines of the spiders. She has it designed so all the spiders on the back by the heel end, and on the front they keep going. And I've got 3 more spiders to finish, I think. So I'm making progress. I'm past the gusset of my sock. This is a taller sock. I didn't say that earlier. Definitely for my daughter. Super excited. This colorway is called Dust Bunny. This colorway is called Dust Bunny. It's by Shirsty Cat, which is a local, like, Northeast dyer. Local-ish to my family. I bought this up there when I was visiting them. Super cute colorway. Perfect for Halloween, I think. This is 50 grams. I have another 50 gram cake wound up. I separated the skein out, so I think I might make Georgia socks with this, and I might make shorty socks with the remainders for myself in the same Ambulate pattern. I think that would be super fun. My sock woes, you'll notice it's on DPNs, and I'm not a DPN knitter. I did say when I made goals for summer sock camp this year that I wanted to try DPNs for a sock, and I just didn't get around to it because I just really didn't want to. But when I was knitting this sock, the cord broke, and I was already thinking it was a very kinky cord. It had lots of different like bends and stuff in it. It was just not coming back to normal, and I was not sure. It was a Chiaogu red lace. It's been through a lot of socks, and it was very beat up, and I wasn't sure if there was a way to like fix those kinks since it is like a different cable-y material than like just a plastic or something. So I was already thinking, do I need to replace this? And then it broke from like the hub, like it snapped. The cord itself snapped. So I was like, well, I guess that's a sign that I do need a new cord. So I don't know if that's happened to anyone else. That was kind of surprising though. I guess I'm an aggressive sock knitter, but the only needles I had available were DPNs in the right size. So I did that. Using the DPNs is slowing me down on the sock. All the purling is slowing me down on the sock. So I'm very grateful that I volunteered to test a toddler size so I can still make it through this pattern test. It is good practice. And I think that my laddering is not too bad at all, considering all things considered. I do not enjoy the process. It's so fiddly. Rearranging my needles with one another, I don't know. I'm not really enjoying it. I'm definitely more of a magic loop person, but I'm glad I have my DPNs so that I could still continue on this sock and I didn't have to make an emergency trip to the yarn store. I still plan to go soon so that I can get another cord, but it's not like an emergency. So that's nice. So wow, both my sock whips are having issues right now. Oh man. Okay, and then I have two really big projects that I've worked on that I have not worked on in a while, which I'm so excited to share with you. Can you guess which ones they are? Oh my gosh, I forgot a sock whip. Oops. Before I share with you the couple things I've been working on. So, I've been working on my brother's Stroll Socks. He is getting an ankle sock. This is Stroll Tonal in the color Train Station. Yes, in the color Train Station. And I just put it down. I'm doing an 80 stitch sock. His foot is massive and we measured it. But I'm also not certain about the size. So maybe they'll end up being like cozy house socks instead of like S-type fitting and with negative ease like I would ideally want. But they're what he's getting. So this is where I was at before. I was just beyond the gusset. You can see my little stitch marker from Deli Dino, some guacamole. And I've done quite a bit because I just have been picking it up. I didn't have anything else that was really easy to bring around with me. The Ambulate socks were definitely not something I could bring around with the patterning and the DPNs. And then my DK weight socks, also couldn't bring those around because I couldn't get any more work done. So I had to work on this just a little bit and I got some good progress. I need to check my notes to see how long I need to make this sock to fit the measurements that I have of him. But I have a long way to go. He's like a US 12 in shoe size for men, so he's got a big foot that it'll be a while. So it is good to have like a vanilla project on the go, and I really do need to finish these because I've been filming that video for forever, like since the beginning of the summer, and I just need to finish it before we move in a couple months. Oof, I just need to put more time into that. Okay, back to the big projects I have to share with you. I put in some good time on my Find Your Fade shawl. Go me! This is another one. I really want to finish this before the end of the year. It'd be even better to finish before we move. That would be just like, it's been a huge thing on my plate. It's just taken so much time and I haven't been able to do it rapidly. Like it's been in a lot of little sittings. I don't like garter stitch. I said it. Knitting garter stitch is not fun for me. But this is how far I got. Yee, making some great progress. You'll see I've got like, you'll see my stitch marker is like a chocolate chip cookie that I made. Yes, I made it. It's so cute. If you would want polymer clay stitch markers like a chocolate chip cookie or something, let me know because that was super fun to make. I finished the garter section that I'm on and I am 2/3 of the way through the lace. I was trying to power through. We had a church like broadcast that we watched all weekend long. It was like 10 hours of broadcast, so lots of sitting and knitting time. And I was trying to push through and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was not having fun. I was so over it, so I needed to put it down. So I'm only 2/3 of the way through the lace section before the next garter section. But you'll see, if I find the right section, that this is squaring off. Ah, so cool. Yay. I'm making progress. Is the stitch count decreasing? I think the stitch count is like very slowly decreasing, maybe, or staying the same, and just like it's switching on which side of the spine they're on. So this side, they're definitely decreasing. I'm not sure. On this side, they're increasing, I think, but I don't know if they're increasing overall or if it's staying the same or decreasing. I just don't know. But that means that I'm getting closer to the end of this. I only have this much left of this color. This is Videri by Sorella Yarn. Their fall tonals from last year. It has a different name now, so I'll try to pop it on the screen and down below. They have rebranded some of their colorways for the fall tonals, but they're all the same colors that they had last year. So, I've got Videri. This is Studio. It's like a berry mauve. This light mauve is called Cashmere, and this white is called Ceramic. So, of course, I have a lot of the ceramic left, but I'm thinking since this pattern is supposed to take 1,500 to 1,600 yards, I might measure this and then just for the rest of the shawl, I'll just keep knitting until I have like, I don't know, 20 or 30 grams left and then switch to the next color then kind of thing, so that I have about the same amount of each color left to do like a color blocked sock or something. That's kind of my thought. Though I'm not quite sure yet, and I haven't quite gotten to that point. Probably the next time I put some good time into it, I will have to start thinking about that. I made some really good progress. I'm so proud of myself. Yay! And yeah, ready to be done. I know I'll wear this. I love this color palette so much, and I just need to finish it. I just don't want to. It's not fun. And some people would tell me just to frog it, but I put so much time into it, and I know I'll love it. It's definitely a product knit, but I'm not as motivated to finish it. And I haven't been like all year, but I really, really need to keep working on it. Setting aside time, maybe like 30 minutes of knitting, or when I'm in bed at night before going to sleep, something like that. I just need to make it happen. The one project that I have been working on in bed before I go to sleep while I'm reading my book, because it's been stockinette, it's been so nice. Ta-da! This is my no frills sweater. So beautiful. I put this down at the beginning of the summer when things started to get warm, or maybe it was like end of spring-ish, because I just could not even fathom touching mohair. But now that things are cooling down, I've literally only worked on this for like 3 days, and I've got most of the raglan done, which is really cool. The stitch marker is so cute. I can't remember who it's by, but I'll make sure to link it down below. I bought it on Etsy from someone big. I can't remember their name. I can't remember. Anyway, this yarn is so pretty. This is Madeline Tosh, their mohair base in the color New Moon. You'll see it's got like mauve, purple, blue, a little bit of teal even. So pretty. And then I bought Knitpicks palette in the color Ice Lily? I think the color is called Ice Lily. I was trying to see if I had any of the labels nearby, but I moved everything out of the way for podcasting, so it's all far away. I think it's called Ice Lily, but it's this really pretty mauve, light mauve color. I bought this pattern and cast it on before I realized that it wasn't size inclusive. Just a quick talk about that. Because I already started everything, I'm still going to finish it, but I am going to be better about only purchasing patterns that are size inclusive up through 62 inches bust. Because while being a straight size person, it's honestly a privilege to be able to not worry about what patterns would fit me and just pick a pattern based on the fact that I like it. But that's not the case for everybody, and that's not the case for a lot of people. That's definitely a privilege that I hadn't been aware of before, and now I am. So I'm going to be better about only purchasing patterns and working on patterns that are size inclusive up through what is traditionally a 5X bust size, because I believe that size inclusivity is really important, and designers won't get the message if we keep buying their pattern. So since this pattern was already purchased by me and I'd already started the pattern, like working on it before I had realized it wasn't as inclusive, I was really surprised because Petite Knit has a lot of size inclusive patterns, but she has not gone back and updated this one to be size inclusive. I have thoughts about that. That's not because she doesn't have the money or she doesn't have the means or she doesn't have the tech editor or grader or whatever. I think that she just hasn't bothered, and that's not cool. So I'm going to not purchase any more patterns that are not size inclusive up through a 60 or 62 inch bust. And that is why I'm still working on this pattern, because I'd already started it, and I'm just going to finish it off. But you'll see other patterns that I work on will not be restricted in sizing. So, like for example, the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. It wasn't size inclusive. It was like one size, but like a big and baggy, and they fixed it. They've updated it. And so I'm going to purchase that pattern, and I have plans to work on it since they have made a difference to their sizing, which I really appreciate. And I know that people who are in plus sizes appreciate even more. So that is this pattern. Just letting you know, being transparent about kind of what the deal is with this sweater. I think that it is working up beautifully, and that mauve in the mohair matches this mauve perfectly. And so it's really interesting to see how the mohair and the fingering weight yarn kind of interact. And at first glance, it just looks like there's a lot of blue specks and whatnot, but if you look closely, you can see all the variation, which is really fun. I'm really excited to have another sweater. Things are getting colder and we're moving to Utah. We'll be able to enjoy the cold weather and like cold weather wears. So that's all my whips. I've only got a couple new yarn goodies to share with you. This is a long podcast. This is a long podcast because I've had so many projects to share. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I already talked about the sock set I got from Dying Wishes Yarn Co. in their Autumn Equinox sock set box, but there was a couple other things in the box that I also got. This is a candle by Good Faith Handmade. It's the color Pumpkin Festival. It smells so pumpkin-y, very pumpkin-y. There's a lot of like vanilla and spice. It's like very sweet pumpkin smell. It smells like baked goods. Yum, yum, yum. I've already burned quite a lot of it. And then I also got Twin Mountain Handcrafts. They have a pin and it's so cute. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but it's like a wood laser engraved leaf. So cute. So cute. I am not one to collect pins. I know there are some knitters who do, but I don't see the purpose of them just to collect pins. And so that's literally the only knitting related pin I have. So I don't really know what to do with it. So let me know if you have any fun ideas. I also got a couple stitch markers from Deli Dino. I was waiting for these. Okay, the story. Last year, maybe in like May, Deli Dino posted an update of their Etsy shop with these adorable little designs, and I wanted them so bad, but I knew I was moving in June. And because these are shipping from Mexico, I knew that I didn't have an address to send these to, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna hold off. I'll buy them next time they do an update. They didn't do an update for like a year, and so I missed out for a really long time. And then when they did their update, I tried to purchase on the Etsy app, and everything was sold out by the time things loaded. The Etsy app is not the way to go for like a time-sensitive pre-order, I will tell you. I missed out. I literally cried, and I've just been watching and waiting, and they finally put another update on, and I was ready and waiting on Etsy on my computer so that I could order these. And I ordered, this is the Banana Splitsaurus and then Tacosaurus. So cute. The detail is like amazing. Like these are little pepper feet. There's like little tomatoes and cheese in the taco. Like the texture of the ice cream and the bananas, you can't really see it like through my camera, but like the texture is amazing. They're literally works of art. I wanted to show you guys, so I haven't like used them yet, but oh man, they make my heart so happy as I've been waiting to be able to have these. Like a year and a half later, I finally have my Deli Dino dinosaur foodies. Make me so happy. So that's like the best news ever. They finally came in the mail from Mexico, so they took a while once they shipped, and I'm just so happy. And then I also got a book that I pre-ordered. This is Charming Colorway Socks by Charlotte Stone of Stone Knits. And honestly, after working on the Life's Better When Camping socks, I was kind of ready to not do colorwork socks. But then this book came, and now I want to make all the colorwork socks. There's so many patterns. I don't know if you can see, but those are all like little bookmark clips that I have. I've literally bookmarked like 2/3 or 3/4 of the patterns as things I legit want to make like soon. So I'm not sure like when I will make these socks. I think once I get my test socks taken care of and hopefully the Stroll Socks taken care of, then I can do something fun for myself without a deadline and make something from here. But there's so many designs. This is the one that has caught my eye for some reason. I have some yarn in my stash from Mezzo Make's Taco Bell collection that I think might be really good for this. All over colorwork. Summer Meadows pattern is what that sock is called. There's some really fun ones. Look, look at that. It's a little chili sock. So I really want to knit most of the socks in this book. They're just so cute. Oh my goodness. but how do I even choose? I don't know. There's just so many good choices. So when I clear some things off my plate, I'm going to cast something on just for funsies, I think, from this book. This is the longest podcast ever. I just had so much to share, but I do want to finish off just sharing life stuff and just chit chat, whatnot, things going on. So I already mentioned we went to Yosemite. We went to Yosemite as a family, and it was so good to get out of the house. We hadn't done anything like that in a really long time. We haven't been camping as a family in a long time because when you're living in Kansas and living in Texas, the best parts of the year weather-wise, like temperature-wise, are also the rainy parts of the year, and you don't really want to camp in the rain or when it's 100 degrees. So we just hadn't been camping yet. I had been camping a few months ago with a friend, just one overnight. It didn't work out very well. I went with a friend, and I'm really glad I went, but it was so hard the whole time. If I wanted to camp again with a toddler, I needed my husband there with me. Before we move, I really wanted to go back to Yosemite. It's been so long since I've been. It's beautiful. We really enjoyed ourselves. It was so, so good. We did a little hike to Yosemite Falls, and my daughter really, really loved seeing the waterfall. It was really cute. She got so excited. She kept trying to show random strangers the waterfall. So cute. She met all sorts of dogs, which she also loves. We camped in a tent. The first night was really, really rough. Yeah, it was really, really rough. Georgia slept for a few hours and then was up for a few hours wanting to get up and play, and we were exhausted. She finally slept in our bed with us. Like, we had an air mattress. It wasn't restful for either of us, but she at least slept for like 5 hours straight. That was really rough. But then the very next day, we went up to Tuolumne Meadows, which is about an hour and a half drive around and up the mountain. So it's a higher elevation. And we went bird watching with a park ranger. So cool. Honestly, our favorite part of the trip. I don't know if you've ever been bird watching. I feel like it gets a bad rap because it's like, oh, that's so boring. But like, it's so interesting. And I think what's most fascinating for us is that birds are so commonplace that we don't even think about them. We might hear a bird, we might see a random bird, but it's just in the background. We don't really notice, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of beauty in those creatures. And there's a lot of variation too if you just pay attention. And so we've recently been getting into birding and paying attention to the birds around us, keeping track on our phone, using an app to identify the birds and learn more about them, which has been really cool. So we went and did this birding excursion. It was beautiful, like at 8 a.m. up in the mountains. It was really cold, like in the 30s right at the beginning when we started. And we saw like a dozen or so different birds that we'd never seen before. And our guide was very knowledgeable. It was really cool going with a guide. And we saw a couple really rare birds. We saw a harrier, which is a bird of prey that likes to fly really close to the ground rather than up high and then diving down, which is really cool. We saw a great blue heron. We saw warbler of some sort. I can't remember, but we saw so many cool birds. It was really awesome to get out in nature and just pay more attention to the things that we often take for granted. And the more you pay attention to birds and critters and plants and stuff around you, the more you notice, which is really cool. So I highly recommend taking the time to do that and just be more aware of what's going on around you. That was really beautiful. We spent some time at Tenaya Lake, which is up kind of in that area of Yosemite, and that was beautiful. It was a beautiful mountain lake with a little sandy beach, so we got to play for a little while there. I got some really cool finished object photos. We spent some time walking around like the visitor center area, and the second night camping went so good. Georgia was only awake from like 10:30 to 11:30 at night, and the whole rest of the night she slept in her pack and play. So it was a very restful night for us. It worked out great. So I only wonder what it would be like if we were to camp for multiple days, not just for 2 nights, that she would have a pretty good time sleeping because she's normally a good sleeper, but it was just a lot of new, I'm sure. So it's a little hard to adjust to, especially as a little kiddo. It was a great family trip. Oh, we went and saw the giant sequoia grove. I think it's Mariposa Grove. And that was really beautiful to go see and just to do a little walk. We found things that we could do with a toddler, whether we had to carry her or whether she could walk herself. And so there were definitely some family friendly things. And I wish we could have gotten more hikes in, but probably just not our season of life because we're exhausted with a toddler. So we didn't have a lot in us to do that. And the hiking carrier bag I have for her is not like a great quality one. It's a secondhand one that was cheap to begin with. So not the most comfortable to wear. And she didn't enjoy being in that very much. So we just enjoyed what we could there. And it was so, so good. We are buying our house this week. So that's been crazy. I'm so excited to like officially have it be ours. So that's really exciting. And other than that, I just have a couple things that I've been working on that I would love to share with you, the non-knitting stuff. So first and foremost, if you have not read this book, it's called The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. You need to read this book. It is one of my favorite books that I've ever read. Okay, little backstory about this book. So this book, it's just a couple years old. It's pretty new, but this is the first in a series of 3 books. The third one just came out and I just finished it on my Kindle. I need a physical copy of the book for sure. But this book is about a bunch of old retiree pensioners living at a retirement community, and they solve murders. They meet on Thursdays and they try to solve murders. They do all sorts of like illegal things, get clues and learn more about things, and they cash in favors with like police and other people to basically solve these murders. It's super funny, but it's also a murder mystery, so it's very intriguing. The mystery is really fun. I had a lot of fun. It's very British humor, so if you like that kind of stuff, this is really enjoyable. I highly recommend it. So I just finished the 3rd book. It's called The Bullet That Missed, and I really enjoyed it. And I need to pass this book on to a friend, so that's why I pulled it out. So I thought I would share with you. If you have not read that book, read it. Let me know if you have read it, how much you liked it. Because I've seen it around a bunch, but I also feel like it's not been read a lot. So we need to get on it. Maybe it's just Americans are just not reading it as much. I love that book. That's been really fun to read. That's really the only thing that I have finished recently as far as reading goes. I'm pretty much a monogamous reader. Maybe I'll read like 2 books maybe, but I'm a pretty monogamous reader. I don't like to read a whole bunch of different things because I just can't keep track. And I don't do a ton of reading, and so that's another reason why. Another thing that I've been working on that I thought would be so fun to share with you, this is Botanical Escape, Anna Oswald. But these are tracings. I've never done tracings before, but let me show you a little bit. She has like descriptions on the pictures and guidelines on what you should try tracing first to get the cleanest look. And then you've got like this grayed out picture with all the different lines in it, even some shading, so that you can figure out how you want to trace it. It's been such a mindful experience to do. It's been so great while listening to a book or, you know, listening to music or something. This is a page of hellebores that I've done. And it's just been really nice and relaxing and mindful. I started some peonies. So you can see the difference between where I've used my fine liner and where I have not yet filled out. And yeah, it's just been a really mindful experience. And it's been really great to just kind of relax in the evening and not do knitting, kind of do something different. I do need to be better about doing different things. I love knitting and I love crochet, but sometimes I'm like obsessive about it and I miss out on other things I like to do. I do like to read. I do like to do a little bit of art and stuff. So I'm definitely trying to get more balance in the things that I like to do. And so that has been really nice and helpful for that. Good way to unwind for the evening and to just kind of slow down. Because sometimes with knitting, I'm like, go, go, go. I want to finish this. Oh, I want to get through this part or whatnot. And I don't like slow down. So this is a good chance to slow down. Wow, I've been rambling for so long. I've had so much to talk about. I don't expect as many finished objects next podcast, but who knows? I'm getting ready for our move. We're moving in a couple months, and so we will be without my computer for editing for a little bit when things get packed up and waiting for the movers to come. We have a trip planned for around Christmas time, so there's all sorts of things going on. I'm going to try really hard to work on videos and have them ready and uploaded and scheduled so that I can still have content coming out weekly. So I don't know if I'll have any Tuesday videos coming out for the foreseeable future, just because I'm trying to get ahead on content, since I am just one person and I have a toddler and I have other responsibilities too. My goal is to still have weekly videos up through the end of the year, even with all the craziness happening with moving and not having our stuff while it's being shipped and going on a trip and all sorts of things. So if there's any videos you really want to see within the next few months, let me know down below so I can prioritize those things that are most interesting to you. I do have a couple things in the works, which is really exciting, but I definitely need more ideas for towards the end of the year before we get into like project planning for 2023. I'm not sure if I want to do a make 9 lists like I did before, or I had an idea that I might do like a 23 things to make in 2023. So it's all in one list and I have more choices to choose from. And so I think I might do something like that. I'm not quite sure. So let me know kind of what you want to see from me. And Alfred came to say goodbye too. Hey, kitty. I wonder if you can hear him purring. He's happy to be held. He's a very lovey cat. But anyway, until next time, happy making. Bye.